Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for High Velocity Radio.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of High Velocity Radio, and this is going to be a good one. Today on the show, we have Dr. Madeleine Wallace with Windrose Vision. Welcome.
Hi, how are you this afternoon?
I am doing well. I'm so excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us about your firm, Windrose Vision. How are you serving folks?
Yeah, so Windrose Vision is a consulting company, and we assist organizations in their transformation. We focus on 4 areas: the finances, the employees, their partners, and also like what do they do? And then based on that, we come up with a strategy so it can increase the performance, and we identify different areas where maybe a new market. So we use my framework that is called the SYNC framework. That is a snapshot, envision, act, and measure. And a snapshot is when we assess the needs, and then the envision is where we identify where we want to go. And then on the third step, that is the act, is where we have a plan and we execute the plan. And then number 4, which is the most important, is where we actually assess progress and assess whether or not we have achieved the goals that we established in the envision step.
So what's your backstory? How'd you get involved in this line of work?
So my father and mother, I'm from Peru, and my parents had a vocational school in Peru. And they used to teach back then like shorthand, typing, accounting, bookkeeping. And guess what happened in the 1980s? Well, in the 1980s, my parents couldn't transform. They couldn't re-engineer themselves and buy the computers and start teaching computers. So my parents had to close the business, and we had to move to another city. And that was a cultural shock for me in everything, but also in that I saw my parents from being owners of a business to become employees. And that really shaped the person who I am today, because I want to provide the tools for businesses to succeed and to transform, because it's technology that is changing everything, AI. So that was my first book. And then my parents also were excellent mentors. They were ahead of their time in terms of the role of women and also the different roles for men. So I decided to write my second book. And my second book is about thrive in the AI and digital age. And again, I use my framework to help individuals and also organizations to upskill and reskill. And so all of this was motivated for what happened to my parents.
And then what got you to America?
That's right. So then I wanted to come to the United States to study. So I came to the United States by my own. So my parents passed away, but I came by myself. So I went to I did my undergraduate and then graduate school. And I say my motivation has always been get as many skills as many as you can. And that is going to be something that nobody can take away. So when I was in graduate school, I was teaching at the university, but I had a teaching and research assistantship. So as long as I taught my classes and as long as I took the coursework required for my PhD, I was fine. But since I was an international student, I couldn't work outside the university. So during the university, I went to the University of Tennessee. I taught sociology, social problems, statistics. So since I couldn't get out of the university, so then what I did was I took a lot of classes in engineering, in political science, in statistics. And that has given me these different perspectives. So you have a problem, I can look at it from different angles. So what it was challenging or became an obstacle in the past has become my biggest asset for my company, because I can do projects from diverse fields. And I used to be the director of performance and evaluation for the National Institutes of Health. And I don't have a background in biomedical and actually a sociologist and a statistician. So, but because of my, I would say, interdisciplinary background, then I'm able to assess the effectiveness of programs and be able to come out with a good framework for organizations and individuals to achieve their goals.
Now, when you left academia, did you immediately start your own practice, or did you work for an enterprise-level organization?
Okay, so when I left academia, I had a unique opportunity that my husband moved to a small town because he's an engineer. So that's when I started working with nonprofits. So I started working with nonprofits, and then from nonprofits, we moved to Washington, D.C., and then in Washington, D.C., what we did was I worked for large companies, for corporate America, large federal contractors, like back then was like ICF, well, still today, Northrop Grumman, so huge companies, and they have large federal contracts. So then I left consulting, and then I went to the government, and I worked for the National Institute of Health. Then I left the National Institute of Health, and I created my new company, Windrose Vision. So I have experience in different areas and in different sectors: the nonprofit, the for-profit, academia, the government, and of course, the small businesses. My company is a small business.
Now, what's the pain your prospective clients are having right now where Windrose can help them?
So I think there are two going on. One is about how to incorporate technology into their business processes, specifically AI, but in a way that they can actually see return on investment. And many times we spend too much time on social media because we think that's going to be the one that is going to give us the most, but many times you need to put it into your processes. So even though we have made a lot of progress on that, I still think that is a challenge because you really have to see your return on investment. And it may take a couple of years. And the other one that is my second book is the one about individuals, specifically how they are going to upskill and reskill, since the job marketing is changing constantly and many people think they are going to be replaced by AI, right? So my book, I have different exercises. I have also an assessment for the skills, and I provide a perspective where individuals can basically engage in what I call sprints. And on those little sprints, they gain new knowledge, new skills, and then they are ready to go ahead and decide what career they need to, or what path they need to go through. So my point is that everybody's overwhelmed, right? So what I provide in my book for individuals is to say, hey, this is your career profile based on what you want right now at this point in time. That gives them like a push for them to try different things. And once they try different things on those little sprints, then they can go ahead and decide what path they go. It's very different than the traditional approach. They tell you, oh, start with your goals. Oh, start with your career vision. When actually you don't really know. We don't really know. There is so much going on. So my book is very action-oriented to give individuals basically the tools so that they can change their career, pivot their career, decide what they want to do. So that's for individuals. And then for HR departments, for companies, my framework can be used for HR because it tells them what to do if they want to upskill their current employees. Because, AI is everywhere. But how do you implement something that is going to work and take into consideration like the people, your staff, consideration your finances, your partners, your customers. So I provide the framework for them to say, hey, you can do this, and this will help you to your employees to gain new skills. And these are different strategies you can do to be effective and actually see the return on investment, which is the biggest challenge.
Now, what's your vision of how AI is going to impact the business world? Is it a tool that everyone is going to be able to leverage if you can kind of figure out how to best leverage it? Or is it going to be a tool that's just going to obliterate, a lot of the working class and they're going to be kind of left behind?
That's an excellent point. Okay, so basically, we do need to understand how AI functions. We have to have a clear understanding of that. It doesn't mean that all of us have to become programmers or have to become the ones who develop the technology or use the technology. So I favor an approach where technology and AI and humans, they interact and they collaborate. And because the individuals will still have agency and will have creativity and ingenuity. And that is something that right now, of course, technology is evolving. AI at this point, well, I know just recently what happened yesterday about the new tool that everybody's talking from China. So, but my point is that the context, we still have to work on the ideal context in terms of AI. And I still believe that it's a collaborative effort. However, it's true on certain industries. Yes, something that is very manual, something that is repetitive, of course, that's going to change. That's what happened in the past with other technologies. But again, I think it's the individual responsibility and then the company responsibility to upscale and reskill. So it's not like it was in the past that somebody's going to tell us, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's why my book is so important, because we are the architects of our own destiny. And we are the ones who actually have to learn about and say, okay, these are my skills. This is how I can contribute. And in my book, I mentioned about 3 areas that we need to keep. So you need to see your skills in terms of the technology trends, the emerging technology, and what is going on in your field or in the field that you would like to be. So all I'm trying to say is that, yes, there are jobs that are going to disappear, especially those who are very repetitive. But then it is up to the individual to go ahead and say, hey, this is what is going on with technology, but I can do this other because I have these critical skills. So we still have to analyze. We still have to interpret. Now, let's see that the technology interpret everything. Well, I still believe there's going to be new jobs and new opportunities. We have to have this optimistic view about the future. Otherwise, we're going to become what? It's inertia. And if you don't do anything, then it's when things happen. But if you constantly move, then you're going to make progress. You're going to find out where your skills can be applied. That's what in my book I mentioned about sprints. Like we have to constantly try to learn something new. Even myself, like right now, I'm teaching myself French with this little app. And I'm doing like 15 minutes a day. And it's hard, but actually it is good for my brain. So my point is like, we have to learn every day something new. And then we will be okay then when changes happen. And my last point is that it is up to the business. It is up to the business owner or the company, the role that they want the technology to play. I think the optimal way is that technology does not replace humans. Actually, they work collaboratively. But it could be that some companies or some business owners, they decide that they don't want that approach. And they go to the other extremes where they say, I'm only going to use, technology. But then I think it depends on the field and depends how they want to take their business to the next level. Because could be that maybe in the future, in about 10 years or maybe 5 years, then people will say, oh, I want the personal touch. I don't want these robots. I want to go back to, an actual waitress inside a restaurant instead of a robot. So you see what I mean? So I guess it's also a personal decision of the company and of the business owners for how they want to incorporate AI.
Now, who is the target for this book? Is it a young person that might be in high school or college or the beginning of their career, or is it someone at all stages of their career?
Thank you for asking that. It is at all stages of their career because since everybody's facing the same theme, that is the AI revolution, but all of us are at different stages. So the different tools are applicable to different stages. So those who started early in their career. So my book launch was last week. It was last Wednesday. So I had 2 testimonials, one from a scientist who is basically at the end of their career and a young person who's one of my mentees. They both found the exercises very helpful. Like for Dr. Phillips, she found out that by doing the career profiles, she was a chameleon because I had different career profiles, 7, and people choose. And then based on that, they go to different activities. So she found out that, hey, she's not at the end of their career. Actually, she has these skills that she can transfer and also she can mentor others. So she was able to find meaning and that is very important. And then, so it's not the end of her career. It's just that she's going to go ahead and pursue these other things. And she's going to try. And then we have Michael just starting his career and he has tried several sprints, meaning that he has taken a lot of certifications. And that's what I call a skill. Right now is what is called a skill-based hiring. So you develop your portfolio skills, AI skills, and also soft skills. And then based on that, you are deciding where you want to go. So he did this exercise that I call a scenario planning, where you have the best, worst, and balanced scenario based on responses to some questions. So then it helps you to strategize and to be resilient. So when something unexpected happens, you say, oh, I can do that. Because it's practice. You already envision this scenario where there were going to be issues. So you try to say how I'm going to address that. And also you envision this scenario where everything worked the way you want it. So then you know also how you're going to address it. But more importantly, you need to identify if you really like it. Because nowadays we're also in this shift where people want to do what they want to do. But the problem is like they don't know what they want to do and they want satisfaction at their job. So it's a lot of things that were demanded for the job. So that's what I advocate. You had to try. There is a period where you do your exploratory sprints and then we move to the next phase. And it's more realistic because you already look at the pros and cons. So anyway, so then you are more realistic in terms of your balanced scenario because you have looked at your skills. You have looked at all these challenges. You try to envision, do I really like to program? Like in my case, I know how to program, but I don't like it. I mean, no, I don't see myself starting programming and no, that's not me. But I did it when I was in grade school and also in my business. I do it sometimes, but it's something that I don't enjoy it. So, but how do I know that? Because I did it. So that's the same thing for all of us nowadays. We really have to try and say, okay, is this for me or not? And okay, if it's not, then how can I leverage what I know to be able to get a career path or to be able to move forward? And so I think it's a beautiful time. I know people are afraid. I don't think so. I think it's for the first time we have choice. You upskill, you reskill, and if you don't do any of that, then it's your own responsibility.
Now, what do you say to the young person especially, and maybe even a little older, that have been told, look, you have to follow your passion and everything else takes care of itself. Find the thing that you're passionate about. Is that really the path forward in this? Or is it something that you got to kind of maybe lean into your superpowers, but there's certain skills that you have to have if you want to future-proof your career?
Yes. So I think people shouldn't follow their passion because passion is something that doesn't last. I think people should explore their interests. When you explore their interests and you actually do what you think you are interested in, then it's when you really find out if you're going to enjoy it or not. So that's what I do, what is called exploratory sprints. So I advise everybody that they do need to go and try different things. So in my book, you have a career profile. And based on your career profile, I push you. Basically, you decide what you want. And then based on that, you do different, what I would call it, tries. I call it sprints because I base it on the agile methodology that is used in programming. So then you try different things, and then you realize, I thought I was interested, I don't know, in being a marketing person and using AI. But then I realized that I don't like to do that. Okay. So, but the only way is that you try. So you have to pursue different things and try. And then after you have enough data where you can make informed decisions. I think we jump into, I really want to work at home. But what are you going to be doing at home? What skills can you do from home? So you see, I don't think we think through it. It's just, I have a passion for this. Well, let's see you do it every day if actually you're going to have a passion for it. So I will advise everybody, it's true, it's a skill base. Eventually, I believe it's going to be this thing that where skills are going to become, and certifications are going to become more important than degrees. They're going to college, but colleges right now are also changing. So we have to wait for the colleges and universities to keep up with the change, because the curriculum has to change to accommodate the new technologies. And for some, you still need to go and do the education. But for others, no, you just have the skills and you can get a job with that. So there are several efforts. So the big companies, Google, Apple, IBM, Cisco, there is other huge companies that are providing training for AI and training on different areas that is for free. So I'll advise everybody to go and check, because everybody has to be into this upskill and reskill. And it's something that I think when somebody try it, then they're going to feel empowered and they're going to find their path. But if they're going to wait for somebody else to take the initiative for them, I don't think it's going to work, and then increases the anxiety. So to me, if somebody has anxiety for the future, the first thing that I will advise is go ahead and try a new skill. Take a course or something and apply it. And that's how we find out. That's what happens in the trainings in companies nowadays. They train the people, but if there are no opportunities to actually apply it, then it gets lost. So I think AI can help us with training, and it can be tailored to the individual. So you see, that's a way where humans and AI can work together, because we want to train the new generation quickly. So then we can use AI. But again, AI is not going to come out with everything. We have to collaborate with AI at this point to teach them what to do. So you see, I see the collaboration there to training new programmers or new people in cybersecurity, or even on areas where we thought that is not going to be any technology involved.
Now, if somebody wants to learn more about Windrose Vision, your firm, or get a hold of your book, Thrive in the AI and Digital Age, the SEAM 4-Step Career Guide and Workbook, is there a website that they can go to connect with you or somebody of your team?
Yes. So I have a website that it is madeleinewallace.com. And I have there my 2 books. And also my book is available in Amazon. So I have both books in Amazon. But if you go to my website, you can find them there too. And they can direct you to the Amazon website.
And that's MadeleineWallace.com?
Yes, thank you. It is the French spelling. My grandfather gave me that name. He traveled a lot. And back then, I believe there was a Miss Universe from France. So it's also like the same name as the restaurant. So the spelling is the key. So thank you for telling me the spelling.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing such important work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Lee. I really appreciate this opportunity to share some insights, and thank you to your listeners.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on High Velocity Radio.